Hey, I'm Scott, and this is the Feelworld Master MA6F. Alright, so let me just jump in here real quick to draw some comparisons between the MA6F, which I'll be unboxing in this video, and the MA6P, as well as the MA5, which I will also draw some comparisons to in this video. And hey, let me know down below which of these monitors you would pick, which one you think is the best bang for the buck. The MA6F and the MA6P are both 5.5-inch monitors, while the MA5 is a 5-inch monitor. There's a decent difference there. It's not huge, but there is a difference in size when you hold them side by side. Also, the resolution on the MA6F is only 720p, while the MA6P is 1080 and the MA5 is also 1080. As far as the price, the MA6F comes in the cheapest at $149 US, and that probably comes down to the resolution. The MA5 is the second cheapest at $169, so that's a little bit of a smaller monitor, but it is also 1080p. And then the larger 1080p monitor, the MA6P, is the most expensive at $179. But again, all three are under $200, well under $200, so very, very affordable monitors. When you look at the specs, the biggest changes come down to that resolution again. Because the MA6F is a larger monitor but has a smaller resolution, the pixel density here is 267 ppi, whereas the MA5 has 440 ppi in terms of pixel density, which basically means that it's going to show more detail. And when you look at them side by side, you can definitely see that. Although, if you're not comparing side by side, the MA6F is still, I think, more than enough. The image looks just fine. 720p sounds more low quality than it actually is. It looks just fine. Of course, the MA6P having that higher resolution does jump up to 400 ppi, but in terms of pixel density, the MA5 is going to take it with the smaller display, but highest resolution of 1080p. Looking at the brightness and the contrast on the MA5 compared to the MA6F and the MA6P, which both have identical specs here, the MA6F and MA6P have slightly higher specs in this area, but it's really not going to make a huge difference. The viewing angle here is also going to be a little bit larger on the MA6 compared to the MA5. But again, the difference in actual use is going to be pretty much unnoticeable here. Otherwise, you're getting a lot of the same. All three of these do support 4K input, up to DCI 4K at 24 Hz. And the power consumption is just going to be slightly higher at around 9 watts on the MA6 models compared to around 8 watts on the MA5. Again, that's not going to be a significant difference at all. Basically, the difference between these monitors is going to come down to that resolution, which also translates to the pixel density. But again, trying them side by side, you can see a difference. However, if you're not comparing in that way, the MA6F is still going to be just fine. However, if that really does bother you, go for either the MA5 or jump up to the 5.5-inch MA6P, and you'll have that 1080 display. So now let's jump into the unboxing and take a look at some more of the physical differences between the MA6 series and the MA5. Come on. So right off the bat, something that I've noticed, and I'm not sure until I dig deeper into this, is that this doesn't seem to come with a carry case like the MA5 did. So let's take this out and see if there's maybe something hiding underneath there. I kind of hope there is, because I like having this case along with the MA5. It just makes it easier to bring along with you. But in any case, right there on the top, you have the monitor itself, and it looks and feels very, very similar to the MA5. I'll take that out in just a second and see if there's, much of a difference physically speaking. But for now, let's put that off to the side and see what else is in here. This is the sun hood, which attaches with Velcro right along the outside here, again, just like the MA5 did. All you have left in here is the arm and some cables. So there is not a carry case included like there was with the MA5, and I'm a little bit disappointed to see that. In any case, you got two USB cables here, one micro, one mini. So depending on the camera that you're using, you'll have something there. There is no full-size to full-size HDMI though, so if you need that, you'll need to provide your own. And it has, again, this tilting arm here, just like the MA5. Alright, so this is the MA5 here, and this is the MA6F. So actually there is a fairly significant difference in size between these two. So the MA6F is a good deal larger, and just holding it in the hand, it actually feels a good deal chunkier too. It feels maybe not a huge difference in weight, but it does feel like it's made a little bit more solidly. Other quick differences in design: this MA6F does not have the screw thread on the bottom like the MA5 does. However, the screw thread on the side here has been reinforced quite a lot more, whereas it was built into the body on the MA5. It did make it feel a little bit iffy in terms of build because the body itself is plastic, so any pressure that you put on that at all did give a little flex, and I was a little bit worried about that being built in there like that. They reinforced it here, which means that they heard people and they made this a lot more robust. The actual thread part is screwed into the body separately, and that's completely metal. So I have a feeling that the reason they did that is just to avoid that flex that some people were getting, including myself, with this MA5. The top of the monitor is also designed a little bit differently. Again, here on the MA5, you get one more screw thread up top there. I think they're really trying to push the arm itself with this one as the main way that you're going to mount this onto your camera, whereas this one had a few more options. But the buttons are also switched up a little bit here. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get a different number of buttons, but actually it looks like this has a little bit more in terms of usability built into it because of some kind of double use buttons here. F1 and F2 are also going to double as your up and down arrows, which means now you can get actually a third function button, whereas in this one you have only 2, but you're not losing out on any of the functionality here. On the other side, the monitors are pretty much the same. You have HDMI in and out, as well as DC power in. The MA6F is also a little bit thicker than the MA5. I don't think that's going to matter for most people, but just in case, it is a little bit thicker. On the back, you have the same dual purpose battery plate, which I really liked. You can use both Canon LPE6 batteries and Sony MPF batteries. So depending on what you have on you, or if all of your MPF batteries die and you still have some Canon batteries, you have a lot of flexibility with this without having to actually change the plate, which is really nice. It also still has this locking button up here instead of just a friction design, which again, I always really like. I'd rather have a button to release the battery instead of just relying on friction. So let's power these up and see if there's any differences in terms of the interface. Looks exactly the same to me. So you got the standard Feelworld type menu here with these different pages and all your options under there. Scroll through it with the left and right arrows. Nothing looks different from what I can see so far. These are both in the Feelworld Master series, so they should have very nice images and very low lag, a very quick response time. So both of these are going to be pretty great. They're lightweight and they're very affordable monitors. They don't have all of the top level assist features built in like waveforms, but they are very usable monitors. I've really enjoyed using the MA5, and I'm glad to have basically the same monitor now in a slightly larger design. From what I can see, like I said, the menu systems are pretty much identical here, and I do have a full and complete and in-depth walkthrough of the menu system on the MA5, and I'll put that link down below. So if you want to see the menu system here, it's going to be essentially the same. If you like this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to see more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching.